what? The atzmius of who you are, the essence of who you are. It's not an expression of who you are because it's all over your body, and it's in every single part of your body, and it's the essence of all your senses, the foundation of all your senses. And some people would say that if you don't have the sense of touch, you can't see, you can't smell, you can't taste, which means that it's the foundation of all the senses. That atzmius of you is grasping the atzmius of that thing. You can never grasp the atzmius of the Sefer Torah. That's what he's saying. That's why it's metamas yadayim. It's metamas yadayim what? So what do? So you don't touch it. That's what it's trying to say. You can't touch it. You don't have a tfisa, you don't have a grasp of this thing. The mystery is so much larger. And the moment I say that I can touch it, it means that there's no more mystery. I have it in my hands. You don't. You never do. Now, if you have an apple, you actually have the apple in your hand. There's an atzmistic connection between you and the apple. So, what we see is that there's a few dynamics of touch. It's throughout the entire body, number one. Number two, it's atzmius, so therefore it's bli emtzoi, without anything in between. It's timidius, it's continuous. It's not a sense that is awake and goes to sleep. You close your eyes, you fall asleep, you're not eating, you're not smelling. It's always there. It's gashmi, it's physical. Unlike the other senses, which you can't touch the vision. It travels through waves, sound waves or optic waves, and it's not tangible. It's physical, and it's bekiruv, and it's close. So these are the important things about touch. These 5 ideas. Where do we find the full? Because touch is also, we say, it's the entire body. Bli emtzoi, without any separation. It's kiruv and it's gashmi. Where do we find all these things in its biggest manifestation, which is paradoxical because it's not a manifestation, in its biggest form? Where do we find this? In kiruv of ish v'ishtoi. In the kiruv ish v'ishtoi. So therefore, what we have, Chazal tell us, the Gemara says in Ksuvas, we learn that se'era means bebasar, means that it has to be kiruv basar. And if one says he bebigda v'hu bebigda is yaitz ksuva, this is like a din maredes, like the Ritva writes. It's a serious thing. You have to actually be kirvas basar. We'll see soon why dafka, but there has to be a kirvas basar because this type of kirva, this type of connection is atzmius. It's an atzmius thing. If you learn the Tikkun Zohar and Tikkun Nuches, it says Yisyachatz and Baila B'Kirv Basa, the Ksiv Etzem Atzamai. That's the pasuk, that's the verse that the Tikkun Zohar quotes to say that the yichud has to be in a way of Kirvas Basar. That it has to be the negia, body to body. Naguf nenem and aguf. There has to be that Kirvas Basar. Why? Because it's Etzem Atzamai. Because it's an atzmius connection. So therefore, it's an atzmius connection. It has to be dafki kirvas basar. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said mishamish aram, it means on top, but it has to be b'li levushim. This is where we find this concept. Now, in the Rambam, in the Meir Nevuchim, and the Sefer HaChinuch, where he talks about the Iyyar of Dvash, there's a Loshon that Chush HaMishush cherpe hiladim. That the Chush HaMishush, which means 2 things. Number one, it means maybe tashmish. It means the full form of touch. But it also means b'chal. B'chal. The Chush HaMishush in the Rambam's eyes, in the Meir, the Rambam is saying is that a person can live a life, a meditative, contemplative, mindful, cerebral life, and connect to the higher level of his chushim, his seichel, his midas, in the higher form. Or chepri lana, there's also a chush which we share with the animal kingdom, which is a chush hamishus, the sense of touch, and he's chepri lana. This is like the lowest form of our chushim, and the Rambam makes cheap of this chush because Because you can be here so ethereal, so spiritual, and so refined, and you're connected to the sense of touch. The Ramban, or this is a tshuva, this is a Iyyar that is Miyuchas la Ramban, Iyyar HaKodesh from Ramban. The Ramban is a rebuttal to this idea. The Rambam holds that Loshon Kodesh is considered Loshon Kodesh, called a sacred language, because it doesn't have Loshon Zivug, it's only Loshon Bia. It doesn't have, it's all used in euphemisms. It doesn't actually tell us the corporeal relationship, physical relationship. It doesn't have that. And the Ramban says no, it's Loshon Kodesh because it's nevuah, and it's a language of prophecy, it's a language of the Torah, it's a language of creation, but it has nothing to do with that. And in fact, it's kedusha. He says it's das and it's kedusha, and the lashon is chibur zeh inu kodesh v'naki bizman haroi b'kavan haroi. When it's done in a proper time, in a proper place, in a proper conditioning, then it's actually the holiest act in the world. So you could say that the difference between the Rambam and the Ramban, we're not going to say this at the end, but you could say that the difference between the Rambam and the Ramban is, like we said before, there's two types of negiah, there's two types of touching. There's touching derech chiba, there's touching derech hana, there's touching where, even though it's the sense of touch, but there's also some type of hana that you're getting from it, some type of enjoyment, which is like the manifestation of that idea, not the thing in itself. And then there's the chibur itself, the actual touch. And the difference between the Rambam and the Ramban is that the Rambam is talking about when this cheper hilonu, when it's an embarrassment and it's cheap and it's small, is when a person has all this things going on in his head. And the Ramban is talking about when a person is doing this b'kavan haroi or makam haroi. And this is also l'chura, this is what the Yavitz writes in Metziya, the question that's asked, why didn't you make a bracha? How come there's no bracha? It's also hana. So he starts off saying that it's not such a hana, it's makish koichoi, and actually a person becomes weaker, and only you do hana that you become stronger. Then he says maybe you should do birchas ha-mitzvahs, not birchas hana, maybe the birchas ha-mitzvahs, the bracha for a mitzvah. And if Bizman I knows, he says Ruba Palmim, it's not Bizman of a mitzvah. And then he says, B'chal, a person always has kavanah not L'Shem Shemayim, so you don't do it. Which is really what the Agad, the Pirkei brings down, B'Shem, that B'Shem, the Zaydichav and others, you don't make a bracha because you can't do this mamish L'Shem Shemayim, mamish, without any intention. This is what you could say. Derech Agav, you saw in the Kaf HaChaim, he writes that you should actually say Asher Yotzar after, so at least you do a bracha. You should, it's interesting. And he also, the Zaydichav brings down, you should make a bracha b'laz, right? You should make another bracha, but not in the regular language. The Zaydichav, we're going to talk about this in a second. Laz means like in the colloquial language. Okay, but the truth is, this is a big doichik. It's a big doichik. It's very hard. It's very hard to say that the Rambam is saying Chepri Alona because a person's kavana. The Pashas, the Rambam actually holds really that Mishush, touch, is the lowest animalistic form of our senses. Why does the Rambam hold this way? What's the foundation of the Rambam's idea? And why does the Ramban argue so strongly? This is really a question, because we said that what is the sense of touch? Sense of touch is not its glory, not its beauty, it's not sight, it's not smell, it's not sound, right? It's the essence of the thing, it's the core of the thing, it's the offer of the thing, it's like the essence of the quality of the thing. There's nothing beautiful about it, it just is. It's always bekiruv. You have to have, in order to touch something, you have to be close to it. It's gashmias, it's very gashmias, it's very, very physical. Unlike the other senses that are less physical. So the Shittas Rambam, in general, is that we are physical beings. We have physical senses. We have the Chusha Mishush, and we have the Chusha Tashma, and this is all Ora Chushim, but the truth is that ideally we have to get beyond it. That's the ultimate objective of man, is to reach a point that is transcendent of his body. Where do we see that the Rambam takes this to the furthest conclusion? Because we know there's the idea of Gan Eden, then there is Yemoisa Mashiach, and then there's Tchias HaMesim. And what does the Rambam say? After Tchias HaMesim, there's Olam Haba. But according to the Rambam, what happens is, first we go into Gan Eden. Gan Eden is afterlife after 120. Then there's return to life. There's Mashiach. Then there's Tchias HaMesim. The body is resurrected. The body receives its reward. Then the Rambam says the bodies die. The bodies die off, and we live in pure consciousness, pure level of souls, without a body. So the Rambam, Olam Haba, the ultimate of creation will be when we totally transcend this physical form. We live in a spiritual realm. The Ramban, which he writes in Sha'ar Gemul, the Ramban's opinion is the opposite. The Ramban says there'll be Yemoysa Mashiach, there'll be Tchias HaMesim, there'll be resurrection. After Tchias HaMesim, we will experience Olam Haba, but Olam Haba would be in the guf, with the body. That it's not a Cherpa Ilano, it's not something that's cheap. And we're really souls, we're really into intelligence, we're Seichel Anikna, we're like this pure intelligent beings that are connected to the ultimate source of all intelligence, and we should just be present in our mind. But actually, no, there's a purpose. The Ramban has an interesting way of saying it. He says, soy godel, what the body is, because he says, also in the time of Olam Haba, is less v'achil, less v'shtia. We're not going to eat, need to drink, but there's a big soy, there's a big secret in the body. And the secret in the body is that there's a tachlis in the body. Why is there a tachlis in the body? Because there's atzmius and there's giluyim. Let's try to take this a little more. There's the yesh of the nivra, the yesh of creation, the actual physical creation. There's the yesh of the boira. There's the yesh, kaviyachal, of the boira, of the creator. And then there's everything in between. The everything in between is all the lights and sounds. After the yesh of boira, there was the Oyer Sof, there was infinite light contracted, created smaller light, the smaller light went diminished and became the world of Atzilus and Bri Yitzir, and finally came to the world of Asiya, and you have the mamish diminished light, where the light becomes so condensed it becomes actually matter, and you have the physical Asiya. In the world of light, which is manifestation, revealing, like colors, what you see, this is what's being revealed. In the world of light, there's the higher refined lights, till there's a level of light which is totally transparent, and then you have the finely condensed matter, which is the physical properties of this world. What's higher? Clearly the higher light is higher. The world of Yitzir is higher than the world of Asiya. And as you refine this matter to its pure refined form, which in the language of Kabbalah is Oer, but in the language of Chikira, which is the language of the Rambam and the Ralbag, it's Seichel, Sichlim. If you refine that Seichel HaNikna to the Seichel HaPoel, which is the active intelligence, the pure place of intelligence, that's the source. Everything else is just a diminished form of that intelligence. So if you're sitting in this physical body, from the perspective of the Oer, from the Seichel, from the perspective of the intelligence of the light, what's the ultimate objective? Let's get back to that source where we're totally refined, totally light, and totally in the Seichel HaPoel. Part of the active intelligence of the Creator. That's from the perspective of the Oyer from the Oyer which begins the Giluyim, the revealing, the manifestations, the projections. That's like smell, taste, sound, these are all the projections. But how about the essence of the thing itself? The essence of Hashem, if we could talk about this, we can't, but we're going to anyways have to try to. The atzmius kaviyachol of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? The atzmius, the atzmus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The atzmus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not a manifestation. It's not a projection. It's not movement. It's not outside. It's not fire, wind, water. It's not a projection. It's not a movement. It's the stillness of the essence of the thing itself. Where do we find the atzmis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in creation? Where do we find it? Dafka in the physical world. Specifically in the physical world, because the Yesh HaBoira and the Yesh HaNivra are linked. The Yesh HaNivra says, I created myself. Who can say they created themselves? Only the Yesh HaBoira. Let's imagine if you're in the chain, if you're like the 30th link in the chain, so you know that you came from the 29th link. The 29th link knows that he came from the 28th. That's the Seder Ishtalshalos, that's the links of creation. But when you have the Atzmius, which is the Gashmius of something, the Gashmius of something says, like all atheists say, we created ourselves. The world created itself. It's combustion or whatever it was, some like major event happened and the world just existed. How could there be a creation that says it created itself? Because it comes from the yesh that created itself. That's the yesh ha'atzmi. That's the yesh ha'bari kaviyachol, that is itself. So the atzmius of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is actually connected to the atzmius of the physical world. So where do we actually have the Boyer himself, kaviyachol? Where do we actually have God himself? Wait a second, before that, the Gashmius. First, the body. The Davar Gashmi, the Chusha Mishush, is what actually allows us to connect to the actual Boira. When I'm thinking and learning and davuk in my seichel, in the oyer, I'm davuk to the oyer. I'm davuk to the seichel. If I want to be davuk to the atzmis of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's the ma'aseh mitzvah. It's a physical action in this physical world. If I do something with this physical world, because the physical world is linked. The beginning is the not chalas and the end and the beginning are together, are one. It's like the beginning of the idea and the end of the idea is actually one and the same. Everything else in the middle is the process. This is not process. Atzmis is not process. Process is evolvement, movement, mayim, eish. This is processes, seeing, smelling. The essence of the thing is gashmis. The essence of the thing is atzmis ein sof. This is why through gashmius we reveal the koyach ha'atzmius in creation. How do we reveal atzmius? Reveal atzmius in this world, even though that's paradoxical, but how do we reveal atzmius in the world? The only way we can reveal atzmius in this world is actually through creation. When we create, when we procreate, when we bring a child into this world, what we're doing is we're saying it's a bria, of course it's not, it's kayam ami and kayam be'ish, it's like a metaphor of that idea. We're revealing the koyach ha'atzmius in creation. That the essence can create. We create. We become co-creators. Okay, we'll have to go through the Torah of Al Shem to prove who is all big ideas and everything that we create. But the atzmis of where we actually see real creation in this world is when there's a yichud of gashmi to gashmi, when there's total touch with no levushim, right? You have to hold the Sefer Torah without the levushim. This is the idea of when we're totally connected, one person with the other person, with no levushim. When there's an atzmius connection to the atzmius connection, that gives the koyach to create new life. And this is what we had a shtickle in Derech Mitzvah Mitzvah Peruvu, where the Tzemach Tzedek writes. It's a concept that's brought on Kisari, but the Tzemach Tzedek brings it down very in practical language like this: that when there's bechinas neshikin, when there's a level of neshikin, which neshikin occurs where neshikin is kissing, where does neshikin occur? That occurs in the geluyim of the person. It occurs in the person's mouth, which means in the person's revelation. That's the place of the tam, taste. When there's bechinas neshikim, which means when there's a yichud of bechinas neshikim, so the Arizal writes, this also happens on a higher realm, but even on a physical level. When there's yichud of bechinas neshikim, there's creations of malachim. Angels are created. Angels are projections. Angels are messengers. A messenger means a process. It's a conduit of energy. It's moving something from one place to another place. It's part of the Giluyim. When there's a yichud of bechinas neshikin, what do you create? What are you projecting outwards? That means that you're really creating it. You're creating malachim. You're creating processes. You're creating revelations. You're creating, maybe even love between partners. Which is a beautiful thing, but it's a manifestation. Where do you have the bria of neshamas? Neshamas is actually through yichud mamash. When there's a total yichud of guf leguf, body to body, beli levushim, and there's a complete merging of these two bodies, that is when there's an atzmistic connection, and there could be this revelation of this koyach ein sof in the bria of a child and the neshamas on the shama. This is the higher level of touch, that dafka through touch. But the condition of that is that you have to put yourself out of the story. Because if you're projecting in the story, then it's not Negiya Mamash. Just like the Rambam, which we started for in the beginning, that there's Negiya Shal Chiba, and there's Negiya just in essence of there worked the other way around. There was allowed, that's not allowed. It means that when you have Negiya, which is the idea of the essence, but you have a whole story. you want to have anah, and you want to have pleasure, and you're looking for some comfort. Whatever your story is, that's a steer to have real yichud. There has to be re'usa, it has to be chedvasa, the Rambam said it has to be besimcha, and it has to be besicha, and it has to be dafka not a ben sanua. These are all positive things. But the yichud itself can be, what am I gaining from it? Because if the moment I say I want to gain something from it, then it's not yichud. It's not full yichud. It's not the yichud that creates the shabbos. That doesn't mean you can't bring down physical bodies, but it's not in the full form of yichud. And v'yesh loimer, maybe this is why the Ziddush Shabbos says that you should make a bracha. It's the Agar the he writes that it's tam kamos, doesn't want to say, but they used to say that the Ziddush Shabbos said you should say a bracha belaz in local colloquial language. So what Pashas is saying is because not everyone understands it, and you're not going to understand it, you're going to think it's just, if you're doing it just lanos atzma, you're going to think that's also positive. You have to really do l'shem yichud. L'shem yichud kutcher b'cheshchinta, you have to do for that yichud. So it should be real intimacy. Real, that, if I'm there, it's not intimacy, it's not yichud, it's not achdusa. Well, one second. So, b'chlal, there's a language that Chacham say, Chacham say this is the way you have to make a bracha. La halacha, but there's opinion in Yerushalmi, it's brought on to Sefta, it's also brought out in Bavli. There are Meir says that whoever says Shabara Chayfetz Hazeh, if you say a bracha, Man no zeh. Shabara Chayfetz Hazeh, you want to eat something, you say, Shabara, who created this Chayfetz? How beautiful is this Chayfetz? The Sefta says, so on says on a pas, and so on says on bread. Man no zeh, then you yoitze. So Shittas Meir, it's not La Halacha, but Shittas Meir. Why does Meir Dafka say this? Because Meir was able to be zoyrek the klipa and get to the essence. Meir was able to say the bracha and laz. The bracha of matbei shetava chacham in the language that Chazal tell us, that's the revelation, that this is the way we connect, you make this bracha. But there's a bracha in laz, which is the language, the colloquial language, Dafker Meir, who was able to learn from Acher and say that I can get to the core of something, I can strip it away. That's a messianic idea, that's a Mashiach idea, to be able to understand that in the yichud of the guf, there can be that type of higher revelation, that even in that type of yichud, we can make a bracha and dafka belaz, because that would be l'asal lavi, when even the lashon laz would be turned to lashon kodesh. Meir v'yameinu. Meir v'yameinu. Lashon amzu. That's belaz. Yeah. I said mavarid. Yeah.
Does that mean that the language will be mavatal, or just that they will also be considered?
La'asal lavi, all languages. La'av l'kulam shechem bechel l'safa brura. What's la'asal lavi? La'asal lavi, all languages will be part of lashon kodesh.
Even languages like Aramaic that are man-made?
Every single vibration in this world is be'etzem in its shoyers lashon kodesh. It's just it's the achorayim today of lashon kodesh. It's the backside. We call it a table, and lashon kodesh is a shulchan. The shulchan is the pnim of the acher. There'll come a time when the acher will become part of the pnim. That's the absence of exile, and there'll be a language that will include all the languages. That's the highest level, lashon kodesh.
There's also the Gemara that says that, I forget who, maybe we put it in us, so you saw maybe Iyyar,
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's right. That's the same idea. You have to be misatzim with the thing. That's the same Gemara. That Gemara, lo yikanef, no more kanef, no more separation. What we want to say is basically that the sense of touch is, even though it appears to be a cherpelona, it seems to be cheap and it means to be nothing. It's just you have to mamish touch it, hold it in your hand to have it, and it's only bekiruv, and it's all these things that are diminished in the mind of the intellectual. They seem to be very earthy and nothing. But the truth is that dafka in the koyach of touch, we have the power to connect with the Meir.
So the high
What is it?
Is that almost a hint that like Re'iyah and other pushing will be more like Mishush?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking also. That's something, there'll be a time when everything will be gash. It says V'ro kol basar yachtav, that the basar will see. It doesn't say that the eyes will see.
Whoa.
The flesh will see means that your senses will be awake, that you'll see in a way of touching. That's another thing. But the basar is the basar, the flesh.
Going back to the Rambam and the Ramban.
Yeah.
So they're not discussing the higher level of touch of the atmos?
No, the Rambam is saying that in the world of seichel, in the world of where the tachlis achayim is davuk and seichel, Mishush is a very cheap sense, even for procreation, for peruvu. The Rambam says, it's shekafo shed, do it, get over with it, it's nothing, it's cheap. Sit in asogis and you'll have...
We're also making a bigger deal of that lashon, and the bigger deal has been made of that lashon than maybe he meant for that lashon, right? Terpa alon, is it
Chapi Lanin.
Terpa alon?
Yeah, Chapi Lanin.
Also, it's dafka lanu, so it's not
Ah, that for him not, maybe.
someone else. To the Ramban, it's not.
Could be. Rambam doesn't have this shit. What do you mean? It's a different. That's a shayla on the Rambam's Olam Haba. It's not a shayla on this. The Rambam's Olam Haba is without a body. So, if the tachlis they get out of the body, so of course Chepri Lana. That's like the lowest part of you.
Still, Gan Eden's not there.
Gan Eden's not without a body. It's without a body.
What?
Gan Eden's without a body.
Okay, where is it with the body then?
He Moshe Mashiach, but that's the technical thing because people are living, so they have to be Moshe Mashiach. And the Rambam holds that nothing's going to change in the world. The shit is shmul. That there's nothing, no difference. There's going to be no war. No, there's going to be the Tchias HaMeisim is a part that the Rambam didn't take a deal with in the Mishnah Torah. There's the Chutshuvah, he mentions it, but it doesn't deal with it in Moshe Mashiach because
It's not a cherub.
no, it can't be a cherpa. But the Rambam, you can understand what the Rambam is saying. The Rambam is saying. I'll say what this it's not seichel. What touch? What are you getting so excited to touch something? It's like so much could be so much more expansive. And then, but on the other hand, the tachlis is actually in the gashmias. There's something about because it's kiruv, it's the essence of it. It's like the offer. Is offer the highest or the lowest thing? Yeah. Yes or no? Exactly. On one hand, there's nothing. On the other hand, all creativity and all life comes from the hakelman offer. Same idea. It's like on one hand there's nothing and everything, and on the other hand it has everything in it.
Rabbi was explaining at the end of this year that simply they could make the bracha b'lan so as not to make it about themselves, but wouldn't or not to bring themselves into the thing.
I didn't say that, but you can, if you want to say that, you can say that.
Towards the end of this year, the opinion
You have to hear it again.
that you should say it b'lan so that so it shouldn't be about.
No, mamish.
My question, I had a question when the rabbi said that is that I would think by saying something b'lan would make me more.
No, but you're asking a question of something I didn't say. That's just so that's a whole other level.
I misunderstood that. What did the rabbi say about why you should say it b'lan? Why someone should say it?
There's a shitta that Meir says you can make a bracha belaz. The Ziducheva writes you should make it belaz. We're trying to explain why is it belaz. Why is it? Because belaz means it's an elevation of the laz as well. There's the oir, which is the Torah which is revealed, and then there's the oir of Mashiach, which is not yet revealed. The oir of Mashiach is connected to the elevation of laz to Loshon Kodesh. That type of transformation of the body, of the secular, of the outside, will be revealed when the gashmis will become ruchnius, will become it's atzmius. So that's why you do it in laz, because it's an intimation of Mashiach.
Isn't there a halacha that when a woman goes to the mikvah, there's an inyan of saying hirotz and shibanavis and mikdash b'hirei mina?
It's not a loch, it's a minig.
Minag.
Yeah.
So there's a minag. So isn't there is that an inyan that kind of like what the Ziduchar was saying is like a kain potential?
Yeah, it's a Mashiach. It's
Mashiach figure.
every time the child comes out to this world, it's part of the process of Mashiach. The more neshamas come down to the body, and the more transformed the physical becomes, the chumrius, the chaymer of the gashmius, that's the chamoy shel Mashiach, is the chumrius. That's when Mashiach will be revealed. When we understand that, what is really gashmius, we're not embarrassed of the gashmius, we're not embarrassed of this. We can understand that this actually is. This has the whole. It's all our projections that makes all this narishkeit. Yeah.
So with this nikuda of the etzem, the gashmias, that has this connection with etzem of Hashem, basically.
Yeah.
You quoted Baal Shem Tov or Sadi Gon, you quoted, well, you mentioned Arizal, you quoted Tzemach Tzedek, but like, is that idea, I associate the idea with Chabad, so it's actually for some reason. But would you say that
it's a Baal Shem's Torah.
Yeah, it's like a historical, it's like a...
It's a knetch. Yeah, it's a knetch. It's a knetch of Baal Shem. But if you bring a Rambam, it almost seems that the Rambam says the same thing also in Hilchos Yesod Torah. Yesod Torah is a Buddha Chacham Sladi Yesha Matzah Yishuv V'Hom Namtze Cholim Tzoyim Cholim Tzoyim Nimtze Elmei Mitasi Matzeh. That's where the Rambam starts. Cholim Tzoyim Nimtze Elen Nimtzoyim Elmei Mitasi Matzeh. There's something about the Nimtzoyim that's Nimtze Mitasi Matzeh. It's a very strange language. The Rambam doesn't say, most people say the Rambam calls it the primal mover and that type of Aristotelian idea. The Rambam calls there's a one beer, and that brings all being into being, and that's the connection. The Rambam doesn't go through the whole Seder Shtalshlos. The Rambam doesn't go through a process where Creator creates through all these worlds.
So it was an idea that
was revealed through the Torah of Baal Shem. Correct.
Nowadays, a lot of people are making brachos of Allah, even just because they're not.
It's
They didn't finish the idea, but I see it was laughing.
that's
continuing with what we were just saying.
Shlom, it's fine. We had the Rambam already. We don't need the. Yeah, what do you want to say? Okay, we quote it inside. This is the Lashon Rambam. It's an interesting Lashon. Is this the way the Rambam starts? Oops, I just knocked off this one. Leidish Yasha Matzah Rishon, wo Mamze Kol HaMetzoyim, v'Chol HaMetzoyim Nishmayim Haaretz B'Nei Lo Nimtze Ela B'Mitasi Matzah. This is like it's a language of Atzmius. That all the Nimtzoyim Nimtze B'Mitasi Matzah. The Nimtzoyim, the Nimtza, the essence, comes from the Nimtze Matzah. V'im Yala Dashu Eina Matzah, Ein Hadavar Echa Yachal Li Matzahs. The Metziya. Yeah. No, it's Chalas Mesaifim. Correct. In the Shittas HaRambam it actually works also, because the Shittas HaRambam, he doesn't talk about Seder Ishtalshus in the Bria. The Rambam doesn't go into the whole system. That's more the Ramban and it really from the Makar Chaim, from Yerushalmi and Gabriel, where they start talking about some evolution, how the boy created.
Sorry, one more.
Yeah.
Could you also say, because the other thing about the other thing like that is polytheism.
Yeah. Nishamas Yisrael. The Torah says that. The Torah says we're offered. I don't have to say that, right? That's what Hashem told Avram Avinu. That we're offered. That's the side of offer. We're the essence of the thing, and that's why it's atzmius. And atzmius is created through that. Absolutely. What? Charpas. Oh, Charpas Adam, yeah. That's where the Rambam gets it from. Charpa comes to that. You know why the Parsim? Because the Parsim are Mesulvim B'Basar.
What? They're fleshy.
Yeah, go weiter, yeah, what?
Oh, no, so I'm saying because if the Yidden are the Etzem, that means all the Goyim are Gilui.
Emes Taka.
So by then...
Yeah, Emes, that's the word. That's Taka the word. That's...
They can't show...
Emes Taka. And the Gemara says that Parsoim is Mesulvim B'Basar. They were very fat. I don't know if historically this is what the Gemara says. So Mesulvim B'Basar actually means that they don't have proper atzmias. Their basar is like too much basar. There's not atzmias. Yeah.
So the Zitchev is saying this idea that some say you should actually make a bracha of Lashon Laz from the Meir, Yerushalmi.
Yeah.
So this to say when he says Laz is a manifestation of the Giloi.
Correct.
Oh, so you're saying to lift the Giloi back to its...
Laz is not the Gilui. Laz is a representation of the world as it is. It's of the Gashmis of the world. Loshon Kodesh, in our world today, there's been Choylon Kodesh. The kodesh is the elevated, something that's nivdal. The choil is already what's separate. There's going to come a time that everything becomes kedusha. When is that time going to come? When the basar is transformed. When the gashmis, ro kol basar yachda, when the gashmis is actually elevated to its proper state. When there's the recognition, it's always in this. The basar is always in the right state. Touch is always correct. We're always creating children. It's the opposite. We have to come to the realization to stop being in our head, to be just present in the body, to recognize the chiddush of the body, the chiddush of the gashmis. That dafka in the gashmis we connect. Atzmi latzamai.
Is this the inyan of teruma, of like eating within a holier state, and then also shmita, where it's like a release of?
It's all related. Yeah. It's all related. Yeah. Basar is psuras tavis. Yeah.
Okay, as it's shimush, but it's not mishush, whatever. But as it's shimush is the only like sense. But I'm not sure if that's when you use it, but it's the only sense that has like shin in the beginning and shin in the end. So like to show the gilgul that it's like coming from the highest, and it's going to be revealed again.
Two shin.
Because the beginning and the end is the same letter. Reach is not like that.
It's definitely something. Definitely.
What does it mean that it's like reversing? It's reversible.
That's what I'm saying. It's reversible. It's back and forth.
It just is what it is.
Seemingly there was a reason relevant to the person making the bracha why he should make it Loshon Laz as opposed to.
Because you're not allowed to make a bracha on Loshon Kodesh. Chacham didn't make a bracha on it. That's the simple reason. That's what he said. He always get around it. So make it Loshon Laz. But the way he says it, So do it before. First of all, who said you can't make a bracha when you're not dressed? Cover your
You're wearing long tzitzis.
No, if you cover your erva, you can make a bracha technically. I'm not saying lalach. I'm not saying the way person can be mechaven yechudim in the mikveh. How do you do? If you mafsik is a lev, okay, this is a whole other kavod, a whole thing. But it's only dafke tefillah that you need to be dressed. For other things, love dafke. We're not going to get into halachic issues of this.
The Laz removes that.
The reason why you have to say belaz is simply because there's no chacham did not make a bracha for this thing.
But if you're saying it's Shem Malchus and
You're not making a Shem Malchus.
If I say blessed are you and then I say that word in that order, that's the Shem Malchus in English.
No, that's not. The belaz means you're making up your own thing. You're not making. You're not. No, it's not. It's not.
But how do people make bracha in English then?
They have to. What should they do?
What?
So this
have to.
This idea that bracha is going back to shikachah. It's a chait, mana,
Chafetzah.
We're talking about kind of like the ending of the last of the Re'iyah, and this is the same removal.
The thing. That's correct. But in a way, the Gashmis always has that milah. The Gashmis always is a removal. The Etzem, it's much harder to remove. That's what we talked about vision. Vision, it's much harder to remove the narrative. Because by definition, the vision is a narrative. Vision is Emtsoi, it's not Etzem. But with Gashmias, we have to say something deep, maybe, and it's a little Ein Dorshan Baroyas, before Hesia, but we'll say that why Taka that every children are born through, because at that moment, we're going to say that there's Yichud of Kedusha. At that moment, when there's mamish the peak of that moment, there's an absence of self. And when there's an absence of self, there can be Taki Kedusha. Maybe all the taivas and all the Yetzirah was to get to that place. Maybe to get to that place. But actually the moment to be boyer in the shamas, to bring down the shamas in this world, to bring the koyach ein sof, we must say that there was a shtickle bittul of that narrative. And we could say that every single person has that experience. Because it's physiologically there's a loss of sense of self. And because there's a loss of sense of self, that's when it becomes really guf l'guf. Atzmi la'atzamai. So that's why it could be. You understand? Because that moment.
The question is after that. When you then say, you're bringing yourself back to yourself.
That's before. This is about the Shas Mais. Okay, no, yeah.
Is there a difference between Shel Brachos and Shav and Sarafat?
Between Shav Brachos and what?
But they're
Shav Brachos is for to be simcha, to bring joy.
So it's not. There's no.
It's
there's
not.
no Mana there for
No, you say because Mechavetzicha again Mekedem, Hashem should bring is be or Yehuda Yerushalmi. It's for joy. It's for that's why it's only people. Yeshava bracha is only for a person that was never married, and because there's different halachas for 7 days, 3 days, because it has to do with joy. How much joy? It's just to make freilach for Chas Kala. No, not so much. No. That's what we're saying. That's what. No, but that's what the Tikkun Zohar says when it has to say guf leguf, beli levushim. The lashon of the Tikkun Zohar is atzamatzamai. That's what. He uses that lashon. Yeah.
So you mentioned Pshat and told us Yitzchak on Nachash, which was not the normal Pshat.
Not the normal Pshat, correct.
Interesting. And then you mentioned what I think is a midrash, although I don't know if I've seen it, that the Nachash actually said that you shouldn't touch it, but in the pasuk it just says it's Chavo says.
That's correct. The Medrash says that.
And so the Nachash is really in our thing that we talk about how the Nachash is really expanding the Iyyar to everything.
Right.
And then Chava was contracting it again, but it wasn't the original thing. It included Negiah.
Right.
And so we had a hard on that, which is that either she got to that because of the Nachash,
by that.
Or maybe Adam Rishon told her something different, or she misunderstood from Adam Rishon. Anyway, without the midrash of the Nachash saying that, is there anything else to say about how that idea of Megiya became an Iyyar for Chava? Like what happened? Like how did that get in there?
I think there was the mistake was, according to what we were saying now, the mistake was that's another nukuda. But the mistake was, it's not about Hashem wants you to have that. Hashem wants us to give us everything. He just doesn't. He wants things to be apart, sacred. Even if you enjoy it, it should be sacred to you. It should be special to you. You shouldn't be nogea b'davar. You shouldn't nogea it. You shouldn't touch it. When you touch something, you're taking away its sacredness. You're saying, I have ownership of it. Even if I don't have enough of it. That's what we're saying, even if without enough.
So there was a certain kind of Megiya at the beginning that was mutar.
Correct.
But maybe it was like a geder. It was like a geder.
Right. There was Negiah that they shouldn't eat it.
And that was already halfway to making the cake.
Correct.
Right? And you already are mechale in Megiya.
Correct. And Kol HaMoisav Gareya, if you add stuff, you're making it worse.
Now, last Kolel, you mentioned in Shiur that there's a oath which actually.
Through Riyah.
Yes, so how do you explain that?
I know if
Yeah.
No, right?
Because God says, it says a medrash. So medrash and Shiur Hashirim, the Arizal brings it down a few times, that there's a certain bird that they can consummate with each other just by looking at each other. But that's because of the Riyah is the type of there's kirva.
They can conceive.
So it says, but there's a kirva. It has to be kirva. It's not derech roichuk. And that's what it actually says. The Arizal says sometimes the Riyah is so deep. The Gemara says in the language of the Gemara, when the Gemara wants to say that if someone's doing something, it says that you saw that you saw that the person's speaking. Just the seeing someone is like a way of saying that the person is being intimate with that person, talking, dialoguing. So there's a type of seeing that we can say is, but we said before, Ro Kol Basa Yachda, there'll come a time when the basar will be able to see. There'll be a type of. Doesn't say. No, it's Giluyim. That's Koilus. That's Levushim. That's Levushim. They are Margish Atzmus. You can't.
Yeah, so it's the one that's mentioned in Mishnah.
Yeah.
It could also see from a very far distance, right?
That's what it says. It can do through. Yeah.
That's probably the honest, other stuff, but so there's no problem with the chila, that the whole doing it with Shem Shemayim, because you get hana.
It's another nukuda. We talked about achila. It's a whole other sugya. There's hana. We're not getting into that. Achila has another. No, achila actually have to have a no. On the deepest level, I told you the more than I what?
You make a bracha.
You do have a no. When you make achila, you don't have to make a bracha.
Well, the whole thing with when you don't make a bracha, the shimpa and
Right.
Doresh.
No, because no is ruchnius.
Shem Shemayim,
No, the no is ruchnius. You can have a no ruchnius.
But if you eat something that is totally not edible, then you don't say bracha.
Of course not.
Right, right.
No. Bracha is for Birchas Hanenim. It's a